Hello and welcome to my channel. As I have promised a while ago, I'll try to make a series of videos to explain to you how to build extension in the UK. I'll explain to you the process from start to finish and what you need to know. Before I get to this video, I want to first apologize for me making mistakes while I'm recording these videos, because I'm not a professional YouTuber, but hopefully I will get better within the time. Second thing is I do have some notes in front of me. Again, I'm not professional. I get a bit stressed and I'm simply forgetting what I want to say. So I do check notes just to make sure that I'm giving you all the informations that I think are very important for you. So let's just begin with this. This video is about beginning of your extension, where you need to go, who you need to ask at the beginning of it. The most important bit is, I need to mention, this video is being made in 2026. It's for UK market. The reason for this is because building regulations in the UK in recent times have changed numbers of times. So what that means for you is not only the way you build an extension or loft extension have changed in terms of the materials that needs to be used. Also, requirements and key roles of the professionals you're going to hire have also changed. So in case you have asked already some other people, not professionals, let's say friends, family members, you went online and you asking and you get different informations, different price ranges, and you don't understand why it's possible that the people that give you advices on they have simply built their extension year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and so on. And it's simply information they know might not be relevant for the current times. So let's just begin with it. I'll start with the beginning, the professionals that you need for your extension, their key roles and their differences, and what you can expect from them, what you need to tell them or write to them. So for the most extensions, you're going to need 4 professionals currently. That will be the architect, structural engineer, building inspector, and the builder. I'm going to make this video in this particular order, and I'm going to use some examples, but as well I'm going to go back and forth a little bit to give you a better understanding of their roles and the differences between them. So for the first one is the architect. Why do you need architect? In simple answer, yes, you're going to need architect. Why would you need the architect? Well, architect is going to make you a drawing of your extension, but that's not the only thing the architect gives you. Architect also, I'll actually put it this way, architect is going to put your vision of your extension on the paper and as a plans. But not only that, architect will guide you and tell you if your vision is actually possible to build, because what you think you can do and what realistically is possible to have it done is often different. When you meet the architect will explain to you if your extension is within permitted development rights, or do you need prior approval, and that's the recent possibility, and or you need planning permission. I'll just come back to prior approval. If you never heard of that, used to, years ago, was only planning permission or permitted development. Some time ago, a few years ago, there's another process called prior approval, and to make it simple, understanding what it is basically fast track planning permission. So it's a bit more than prior approval, where no submission of plans is required to council. You can just build with the permitted development. Prior approval is still submitting plans to the council, but it is fast tracked, and architects, especially good ones, local ones, they know this, and they will advise you on this situation. But you probably heard that for permitted development rights, you don't need plans. You can draw them plans by yourself. That is technically correct. However, the builder or the building company, when they come to see you and you want quotation from them, builders most likely will need plans. If it's very basic, they might be able to work out the price, but obviously it's not going to be exact what you want. But the building inspectors these days require plans for assessment in terms of building regulations, and I'll get to this a little bit later. But let's say now you've got a couple of quotations, and the quotations from the architects are vary significantly, not just hundreds of pounds. They can vary thousands of pounds. This might be caused by the fact that you have contacted not only architect, but you also have contacted architectural designer. Yes, there is another profession, and it's widely spread and widely known, architectural designer rather than architect. If you haven't heard of it, I will explain to you the difference between architect and architectural designer. So who's architect? Architect is the person. It's the earned title, not bought title. Architect is protected title in UK, and it's regulated. Architect is the person that went through years of education. They had to go through practice and eventually pass the exams to become one. Once they done all that, they had to be registered with Architect Registration Board. So it's not that simple to become architect. Thanks to this knowledge they gained, they will produce you. They can easily produce you full pack in drawings. Usually that's what we call them, full pack drawings. They will contain initial drawings, something for you to review and change at the beginning. Once you have initial drawings, they will produce you building regulations drawing with, that's important, with up-to-date building regulations. It is important. I've seen plans in my past where they had not been updated to the building regs. They will also, often they will also include structural calculations. I'll get to this with the next professional, but they also, architects' drawings contain structural calculations already on them, not just on the plans. It's a full pack, so it's not a set of drawings. They also apply for planning permission for you. They can appoint building inspector for you, and they can manage the entire project for you. Drawings from the architects often will be very detailed, and they will be specific for your extension. What that means is, like you can imagine, sometimes drawings, architectural designers, if they bad, I want to highlight this especially when I get to the designers. If they bad architectural designers, or let's call them simply designers, they often use copy-paste regulations, like standard notes, and we do read them as a builders, but they often standard notes and not relevant to your project. architects are very good for very complex projects. So if you build in, let's say, a wrap-around extension with full renovation inside with some high-tech materials, unusual materials, these people are very good for that kind of extension. Not saying that designer will be bad. It's not like that. You can find very good designer, but who's actually designer first? Designer is not a protected title. They are not regulated. What means regulated is if they make something wrong, they're just not responsible for that. They just made it wrong, simple. So that's the key difference between both of these professions. And as you can imagine, then the price is obviously different. With the growing AI in UK, this is important for you to know, is with the growing AI in general in the world, not the UK, sorry, making mistakes. With the growing AI, a lot of them begin to use AI to produce drawings. And we all know, as for now, AI is still making mistakes. And you won't know that if you've made mistake, if they made a mistake until you start building this. But thanks to this, they often much cheaper. But you have to be careful when you get the designer involved, because they often missing information on their drawings, on the documents. You have to make sure that all the information you require are there. But anyway, coming back to this, it doesn't mean, and I don't want to say that the designers are bad. No, they often can be just as good as any architect. They can produce just as good documents as the architect. You just have to be careful, more careful when you engaging with the designer in comparison when you're engaging with the architect. Just check them, make sure they're reputable, check their previous work if it's good, if the people they worked for are happy with the design, and obviously look at the price. So the second professional is a structure engineer you're going to need. This will be particularly short, however, very important person for any of the extensions you're going to do. Why? As I mentioned before, so I said I'm going to go a little bit back and forth with this. Architects often do contain structure calculations, but when you get the drawings done, you have to check if the structure calculations actually come with it. Structure calculations are not drawn on the plan as say, this is the opening, this is the steel you need to use, this is the lintel you need to use, this is the size of your rafters. Because if you check carefully, the plans often do say is that these calculations will have to be followed by these drawings has to be followed by structure engineer calculations, especially on the designer's drawings. I see this very often, and when you're asking them, yes, they will respond, yes, we need to provide you structural calculations. That's the extra fee. So there you have why they sometimes are cheaper. You have to make sure you might have, it's called building regulations drawing, so you have some calculations per se done on the plans by the software they use, but it doesn't mean you have the actual calculations. You have to submit proper calculations to the building inspector. So who is actually structural engineer? Well, I pretty much explained this to you already. So they also highly trained professional, years of education, practice, exams. They also are certified and protected and regulated in UK. So you can't just go online and check and make some calculations by yourself. It has to be followed. These regulations has to have, these calculations have to have proper certificate on them. So I do, from my experience, I've been asked a couple of times by building inspectors when we submit plans from the architect that customer had. It says, do we have structural calculations? And when I gave them the structural calculations, he came back to me and said, okay, but there is no certificate number of the structural engineer. We need this. We need to make sure he's qualified, or well, we can check this with our in-house or building inspectors. When they check in plans, they have in-house engineers to assess drawings, and they will point that out. So this is important when you engaging with the structural engineer. Make sure he is qualified. So what you expecting from structural engineer? Structural engineer will calculate often type of foundations. They will calculate loads of the walls, but so people sometimes, I get that people don't really know. They do so much, think that structural engineer is only for your steel work if you do opening inside a house, but no, that's not. Structural engineer will calculate loads of the walls, so the type of the block work you need to use and how you need to build it. They will calculate the floor for you, if it's a concrete floor, if it's suspended wooden floor, and they will calculate your rafters, your roof, in other way. So, but that's pretty much about structural engineer. So the third professional you're going to need for your job is a building inspector. But you might say, well, I've got permitted developments. Do I still need a building inspector? Yes, you still need a building inspector. But my architect or designer have sent plans for building regulations approval to the council. That is not appointment of building inspector. Okay, that's different. They might provide you quotation, local authority, but that's not appointing building inspector. So going back to this, you need a building inspector for your project. What building inspector does is checking compliance of your extension with the building regulations. That's what they are there for. So it's the architect often can appoint one, designers also can appoint them, and I'll get to this in a minute, but the builders can also appoint the building inspectors. You need building inspector before you start the project, not during the project, because you might be facing strip out of whatever you've built. The building inspector has to be appointed before you begin the project. Minimum is usually 7 days before you begin the project. One important thing with the building inspectors these days is the building inspector cannot advise you on your project. It has changed, I think it was 2023, when this become different. You could get a building inspector on the jobs, and structural engineer jobs wasn't so crucial apart steel. That's why majority of people think the structural engineer is only for the steel. No, it's no longer the case. So you could go get a building inspector, and you could ask him, well, I've got suspended wooden floor, what size of joists, floor joists do I need to use? And the building inspector will say, okay, well, let's check the span table book. There's such thing, it still exists. They will do that, and they will say, well, you can use 7B3s or 7B2C24s timbers, and that's good enough. You got to go. With any of this, that's no longer the case. So what's happening is, again, building inspector role mainly is to check if your build is compliant with the building regulations. What that means is, is your building extension correctly within the building regulations and the plans they have in hand. So the builder needs to check plans and needs to build accordingly to plans run by architect. In other words, is basically passing the responsibility from them to another professionals. They only there to check things, not to advise you. But again, there are two types of building inspectors. Okay, there's local authority building inspectors, and there is also approved building inspectors. What's the difference? Okay, so I'll explain this on the pluses and cons. So the local authority building inspectors, in my own experience, often very slow. Not because they are slow, it's because they are overloaded with jobs. And I'll get to in a minute why they overloaded. Or they slow with responding. When we do extensions, this is something that's very important for us to consider, because if we dig in foundations, for instance, and then we facing heavy rains coming, foundations can collapse. So it's crucial to get building inspector as soon as possible down and inspect. Local authorities often sending different officers at every stage. Not everywhere. I don't want to say that the local authorities is bad, because I hear throughout the country the experience is absolutely different. So some local authorities can be very responsive, very key to help, and some local authorities are not. Often local authorities are cheaper, as I've heard. I very rarely use them, but they much cheaper to work with. But there's that possible downside. So check your comments about your local authority, if it's a good one, and check it locally. Don't ask on the internet, because people from different areas won't probably know how your local authority operates. But there is also approved inspectors you can have. So that's the private firms. The major difference really between them is their capabilities. The approved inspectors often are limited, but you probably won't know this, because for majority of domestic extensions that doesn't make any difference. Very rarely something can occur while you're doing the job that the approved inspectors cannot sign this off and needs to be sent back to the local authority. I think I'm not 100% sure on that. If it's a single item, the local authority can check it without taking all the work back to them. But what's the major difference that we recently facing a lot within the UK market is your local authority will never disappear. They're going to be there forever. So no matter what's going to happen, there'll be always building inspector coming out and check your job. With the private firms, private companies or approved inspectors, that's a bit different. Again, they just are private firms, they limited companies. Then they can go bust. And what's happening then? In the best scenario, if the private firm collapse, you holding all the documents in your hands or in your drawer, you can take all these documents and send back to your local authority. That's called reversion. And if they check plans and they are happy with them, they will allow you to carry on. But there will be another fee to pay. There is no other way. You're going to pay to your council again for the building control. There is apparently a way where you can appoint a private firm again. As far as I heard, it's a very limited window. It's not very easy, and a majority of approved inspectors not willing to take some others approved inspectors' job. So they actually insisting to get this sent back to local authority. So this is the biggest problem, really, with the approved inspectors. So if you engage in with approved inspectors, make sure they reputable, make sure they is stable as a business. I mean, how can you know? But there are ways of checking them, reviews, opinions from the builders. But what's good side on the approved inspectors? I don't think I've mentioned that. They a bit more expensive, or not really good side. They're a bit more expensive, but they're very responsive. So builders, like we do, we prefer to use approved inspectors purely because often we can get them done within 24 hours, sometimes even quicker. And because we have a strong relation with some of them companies, they know us, they trust us, and we sometimes can send them photos with approved locations. That's a new thing, by the way, if not somebody never heard of it. When we send in photos to building inspectors, it has to be location tagged. You can't just send a photo, because you can send photos from different locations. It has to be location tagged. They ask it. So if they trust us, we can send them pictures and they will approve it. But it's only a few stages they will allow us to do this. So they don't have to come out 15 times on the jobs. They can often come 2-3 times. So they're very flexible. Cost more, but reliable, flexible, in comparison to local authority. Not saying, again, local authorities sometimes can be just as good. But it depends where you are in a country. But the key part is whether you got the building inspector, you make sure you have reports from stages. This is important for you to have. If you want to sell the property, you've got reports from the building inspector, especially completion, and that's going to be the most important part. Okay. Building inspector, whether it's council or private firm, they do not work for the builder. They are working for you, homeowner. Just because the builder appointing building inspectors, whether it's private or council, it doesn't mean they work for them. They're paying the fees to make their job easier. No. Building inspector is appointed and they work for you. This is the key takeaway from that part. They work for you. You are allowed, once the building inspector is appointed, you are allowed to contact them whenever you want to contact them, asking for any information. So if you have doubts about part of the job, that something go wrong, or you have doubts about building inspectors, the red light for you is there is no contact for building inspector. You need to have a contact. Wherever I appoint building inspector, as an example, wherever I'm appointing building inspector for the client, I need to have a full details of the client, their address, their email, their phone number, and once I do have these documents, I fill up the forms for whichever building inspectors we use. I fill up the form, and the customers being notified straight away that this drawing and that job has been sent to them and they've been appointed to become building inspectors. That's the key part. They work for you. Okay, so going to move on to another stage. So the last professional you're going to need, unless you're doing the job by yourself, is a builder. So let's go by example again. So you've got all these things set up, and you contact the builders, and you all of a sudden get in range of prices, hundreds of thousands difference, and you just don't know why. Even online, I've seen today a post on Facebook. Somebody asked about loft extension and got few local builders coming in and giving them prices in the range of 40,000 to 120,000, and then they just don't know why, because why can be such difference if they use the same materials and they are the same builders? Are they just have no jobs, or what's the reason? But I will go more technical rather than desire to do bigger jobs and then down pricing and then up in later. So we have builders and you got building companies. That's the major difference. But first, just because somebody comes to you and then it's the builder limited, it doesn't mean he's a company. With all due respect to the builder, if they're listening to this, when you are a company, that's you are the builder and you're working in your own company and being a builder, you are not a company. You're just a builder registered as a limited company. Why this has happened is to explain to you viewers why you get in a builder as a limited company is because it only takes 1 or 2 extensions in a year to pass through VAT threshold. VAT threshold is not following the national minimum wage, is not following inflation as it should, and then it only takes those 2 jobs to pass through VAT threshold. Once this has happened, majority of the builders taking steps and protection, and they registering as a limited company because, well, they can lose everything they got. So why would they? Why wouldn't anybody do that? So that's a reasonable move. So they become a limited company. But now, so these builders, okay, they can still do your job. They're still very good. They can still have their good reviews. They can handle most of the extensions. They know numbers of trades, i.e. joiners, carpenters, plumbers, kitchen fitters, electricians, and they will happily work with you and help you with these jobs that way. And the only difference there might be, they will ask you to buy materials. They might ask you to pay each of these trades individually, which is nothing wrong. This worked before, and they're going to work for a long time. What else they can still provide you simple quotations. Often might be complex, mostly it's simple quotation, which is not detail, and that's one thing for you to look at. They can provide some form of contracts, and they will hopefully they will provide you insurance, at least public liability insurance. But what's the difference between the building firm when you engage in them, and why their prices are different, often higher, not necessarily, but they're often higher? They will do all this that builder does the same way, almost the same way. However, the contractors, again, electrician, plumber, usually come through the company. So you dealing with one person and paying to one person rather than dealing with all of them to the degree, because I personally think that when it comes to locating sockets or type of sockets or radiators, sometimes it's just better to speak directly to the professional plumber or professional electrician, or whichever profession there is, than speaking with the company owner. But that's my view. I'm not saying this is the right way. Company will come with the contract up front, detailed contract specifying who's who and what's responsibility of each person. They will produce a payment schedule if you require, and they will also give you better insurance. So usually you come in with up to 5 million public liability insurance. You have work insurance, often missed, with the builders. You've got bona fide contractors insurance, or contractor insurance in short. What that means for you is the bona fide contractor insurance. Our insurance is higher because we making sure that the contractor that come through us, we need to make sure they have their own insurance. But if their insurance failed, you've got another insurance from the building firms. The building company will manage the entire project. You might have on-site manager. You contact one person and dealing with them, and building firms. The plus sides on the building firms, often you can engage at the beginning of your job. You can already engage with the builder rather than an architect first or designer. You can engage with the builder for the small extensions. Often they can produce you drawings, but even if they don't produce those drawings, they can give you a price at the beginning of the job, so you know if you can actually afford to do the job before you spend monies on architects, planning permissions, etc. The building companies, and again builders, if they're good, they might do the same thing. They will advise you right on the beginning with what's possible and what's not, and what will drive your price very high, or what solution will keep your price down. So if you on the budget and you don't really want to spend fortune on your extension, but you want to extend, contacting builders very often is the best way to start. I've gone a bit too far with it. So the companies cannot produce your drawings. They can submit plans to the council for you on your behalf if they produce any plans for the basic extension. It's a win-win, and they can appoint building inspectors, like I mentioned, with the builders. But that's about difference of the builders. The last part is about you as a client. So again, it's 2026, and the most important part of this one, you as a homeowner have far more responsibilities nowadays than you had before. Just producing drawings and giving them to the builder and tell them, well, I want extension, do it. It's no longer enough. It is your responsibility to have professionals on your job. It is your responsibility because we spoke about builders. Since 2024, I think, you have to appoint on the job principal designer and the principal contractor. So whenever I fill up the form for the building inspectors, I've got questions: who's principal designer and who's your principal contractor? This is not expected to. They're not expecting you to be as a principal contractor, and they're not expecting you to be a principal designer, although you can be both. And the principal designer, it's not architect as designing drawings. The principal designer in this respect is a person responsible for health and safety on site. It can be you. Again, you can be principal contractor, but if you don't have the insurances I've mentioned before, well, you have to be very careful. This is expected from the builder, the main builder who's on site, to be a principal contractor, not from you. And saying that, builders and the building companies, that's one of the major difference. Some of them don't want to take that role on them because that's core responsibility. And if they don't want to be responsible for the job, if things go wrong, everything lies on you as a homeowner. So whenever you engaging with the builder and you want to appoint him as a principal contractor, make sure his insurance is suitable to be, because he's not only responsible for the job, he's also responsible for the contractors that you engage in, you yourself. So not just the contractors he brings on the job, but the contractors you engaging. Sometimes people prefer to use their own window installers, they prefer their own carpet fitters, they prefer their own kitchen installers. Until the job is completed and signed off by the builder, he is responsible for every contractor on the job. So, and the one more thing actually, I just forgot I want to mention is with the growing issues on the building market, and there's another role that you are responsible. You have to produce party wall act agreements. So whether you build an extension close to boundary, you need to notify your neighbour about what you're doing. If you're digging foundations, if you slot in steel to the party wall, you need to tell them about this. And it's a bit sad. It's my own personal opinion. It's a bit sad because it was good enough just to go to your neighbors. It still is. You might go to your neighbors and tell them, well, I'm doing this and that on my house, and then just so you know, I'm starting extension. Just tell them in advance, because people talk less and less. So it's a bit of a personal rant on it, because people talk with their neighbors less and less. If you don't produce this, you can have something called party wall surveyor. If you don't produce this by yourself, then and you don't pass these documents to your surveyor, then they can actually engage with council and they can stop the job, which is not really what you want. They can stop the job for you if they're not happy. They stop, inspected. If something goes wrong at that stage, then you're liable. Again, you need to have an insurance. Your contractor needs to have an insurance. It's important to know. There's a growing number of situation where people build an extension. They don't say anything. Well, I've got planning permission. Why would I tell my neighbour? Planning permission, and the fact that your neighbour receiving letter from council that you build an extension, it's not notification for them that you're going to dig under their foundations. That's not party wall act. That's not party wall notifications to them. You need to do this separately. That's another thing. So wrapping this all up, if you, as an opinion, my opinion, okay, just purely opinion, that's not the fact, that's not a statement. I want to make sure you understand this. Wrapping this all up, if you're thinking about building extension and it's a small extension, single story, sometimes double story, and you don't know who to contact first, then the building company or the good reputable builder is certainly a good call for you to give you an idea of costs, small plans, ballpark figures. They can do this, or engage an architect or designer at that stage. It's also good, but designers and architects, usually they won't tell you how much extension will cost. They can give you brackets, but they won't give you firm cost of the extension. If your extension is huge, if you're building wraparound double story extension with numbers of different features on it, with full renovation inside, heat pumps, triple glazing, etc., it's a very complex extension, then probably contacting builder won't be a good idea at that stage. It's probably going to cost it's going to be probably too difficult for the builder to tell you how much this is going to cost. At this stage, it's going to be a lot better to contact architect or designer or reputable designer to produce drawing up front. But when you got these drawings, you don't need to submit these drawings to council. You don't need to apply for planning permission straight away. You, with the drawing, with the basic drawings, again, remember there is initial drawings and there's a building regulations drawing. Initial drawings usually are a lot cheaper whether it's an architect or designer, just to give you an idea what you want and just to give the builder idea what he's quoting for. Once you get the quotation from the builder and you know you can afford doing some such work, then you can come back to the architect and produce proper drawings. Well, that's pretty much it. If I missed anything and you would like to hear more from me, then leave the comments, subscribe. Hopefully I did help you somehow with making decisions about your extension. If there's anything you want to know about this, leave the comments under the video. The next video I think I'm going to make about what you need to know, before you engage with the architect. What's the information you need to provide to the architect before you engage them. Usually, I'm just going to say it now, architects know what they need to ask you, but sometimes to speed up everything, it's better to be prepared and tell them. So if you like this, please like it, leave me a comment and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you on the next video. Thank you.